Hey guys, thanks for joining us this week. I am guest hosting for Barry and I am excited to be coming to you from Kentucky Lake. We're normally bass fishing or crappie fishing here, but today we're fishing for bluegill and shellcracker. We are pan fishing. This is something that's awesome to take somebody that doesn't fish a lot, maybe a kid. The action's fast, and that's what we're looking for here today. Stay tuned because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi guys, I'm Crispin Pally. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm a native Tennessean. I grew up here on beautiful Kentucky Lake. I've had the fortune, the blessings of being in the fishing industry for about the last 20 years. I've got to travel all over the country, fish bass tournaments, just fish for different species of fish on all the greatest lakes in the country. And I have to say there's no place like home. Today we're going to be pan fishing on Kentucky Lake. Known for its bass fishing and its crappie fishing, it is also just a destination spot for bluegill and shellcrackers. We're a little bit early. We're on the front end of when most people come here and fish. We're on the front end of the spawn. I think it's going to be a good time. Kentucky Lake's really fishing good right now. It's a gigantic body of water. It's 189 miles from dam to dam. It's one of the unique lakes in the country that flows from south to north. We're in about the middle section of the lake today. We're in the New Johnsonville area. We're targeting the spawning first wave of bluegill and shellcrackers that are moving up and making beds. So we're just gonna get out there and have a real good time. And we're also gonna get you a ton of information from your local region, from your local reporters. I'm gonna get this tracker boat launched. While I do, I'm gonna send you back to the FSN studios for the weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are indicating that Saturday will have the best game fish activity of the weekend, with peak daytime action beginning at 3:45 in the afternoon. Sunrise will take place at 6:29 with sunset occurring at 8:18. And we just had a full moon this week, so evenings should still be fairly bright. Stay with us for regional fishing updates from around the area. And we'll talk crappie fishing on this week's Ask the Pro feature.
What I've got is a little jig head, about a 30, maybe a 16th ounce. And I've got a red worm, there's one, threaded up on it. And I'm dragging it on the bottom out there where they're bedding. And they can't stand it. Right there's a decent bluegill. What you've got are these males coming in here, getting these beds ready. That's a decent sized bluegill. That's a pretty average sized bluegill right there. Just a beautiful fish. They got these little ears on them, and they are just so much fun to catch, and they bite. There's no telling how many, probably hundreds of them up there. Not only do I love doing this, but I love to take people to bluegill fish. It's such a fun time to spend with your friends or your family, your kids. This particular spot, there's a white pole out here in the middle of this bay. They're coming in here bedding on these firm bottom areas. We're in a creek, we're in a pocket in a creek, and our TWRA, which is Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, has actually put this stake out, and it's a fish attractor, and these fish have come in here and made a bed around it. And one of the cool things about bluegill and shellcrackers is that they just almost like clockwork go back to the same bedding areas every year. That once you find a bluegill bed, that's usually good year after year after year.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
That's a good bluegill, folks. That is a pretty stout bluegill for Kentucky Lake standards. There's one, a little better one right there. Maybe a shellcracker. That's what we're looking for. Oh yeah. Nope, that's just a big old bluegill. That is a That's a good bluegill, folks. That is a pretty stout bluegill for Kentucky Lake standards. They do get a little bigger than that, but that by and large is a big one every day long. The thing about these, they are, as fun as they are to catch, they're incredible to eat. There's about 100 ways to prepare them. You can't go wrong with filleting them and just frying them, breading them and frying them. We take them and we'll actually do them like with a shrimp boil and chill them and eat them with cocktail sauce. Man, it's just, there's no way to, hardly a way to mess them up. And they are so fun to catch. Guys, we're gonna move around here. I'm hunting for these shellcrackers, so I'm gonna get repositioned. We're gonna send you to your local fishing report.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville. Well, Georgia fishing has been just great recently, according to Captain Judy Helme out of Savannah. The east winds have been blowing there, and that's blowing in a lot of sargasso weeds into some 50 foot of water, which is really pretty close off the Georgia coast. It's bringing in a lot of bait like flying fish and some other species on which dolphin are feeding, and also kingfish and an occasional blackfin tuna. As long as that east wind stays in, the water is going to be nice and clear. There's some great fishing offshore there. Inshore along the Georgia coast, fishing has been very good for sheepshead, black drum, redfish, and sea trout. In southeast Georgia, Captain Tim Cutting says that the triple-tail sight fishing is starting to turn on. But the big news there along the Georgia coast, according to Tim, is that there's lots of 5 to 15 pound bluefish being caught, and some of them are way up the rivers. A lot of clear water, salty water blowing in, and for whatever reason, these big bluefish are around. Over in Alabama, Captain Patrick Garmison says that the east shore fishing in Mobile Bay has been good for trout, and all along the coast of Mississippi, along the barrier islands in Mississippi Sound, the fishing has been just great for spotted sea trout. Well, that's it for the coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
The days of fighting with your deep crankbaits are over. The all-new deep cranking coffin from Bass Mafia is the solution. Waterproof, crush-proof, and designed to hold up to 44 deep crankbaits in individual compartments. Check them out at mafiaoutdoors.com. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, it is a wonderful time to be here right now throughout the whole region. We've had a lot of rain in the past couple weeks, and most of the water levels are up to summer pool. A lot of them have come down and been brought back up, but the cool thing is just about everything is around the bank right now. The catfish are really biting on the Tennessee River and the Cumberland River. Cumberland River is probably the hottest spot in this region for catfish. Crappie are still good. They're kind of on the downhill side. They're moving back out. The bluegill and shellcracker bite is on fire. Usually the first full moon in May is the hot time for that, and we're all over that right now. Bass are around the bank. They're around flooded cover. Buck bushes, flooded vegetation, and willow trees are the thing right now. Chickamauga, as always, is hot. Reelfoot Lake, the bluegill bite is as good as anywhere on earth right now. Barren River in Kentucky, they're biting. Lake Cumberland in Kentucky, they're biting. Old Hickory, I've seen some big bags of bass come out of there lately. And then, of course, Kentucky Lake, the Tennessee River chain is on fire right now. Hey, it's fun. They're around the bank. They're real easy to catch, about as easy to find as they will be all year. We'd love to see you here. God bless. I'll tell you what, feeling these dudes bite, man, they are so aggressive. And it's just every cast. That's why it is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. It's another nice bluegill. The goal out here on Kentucky Lake really is the shellcrackers. Now that's a nice bluegill. If I were coming to Kentucky Lake to bluegill and shellcracker fish, the prime time is the first full moon in May. Now I'm a little bit early for that, but if you're coming here, if you ever want to plan a trip, you plan it around the first full moon in May, and you can catch them. They're here, they bite. As you can see, I can literally catch on every cast right now, and it's going to do nothing but get better until the peak in the first full moon in May. Now, if you'll notice, this thing right here is about twice the size of those bluegill we've been catching. There's the shellcracker right there. Now, if you'll notice, this thing right here is about twice the size of those bluegill we've been catching. You can actually lip them just like a bass. And the shellcracker and bluegill get in a lot of the same areas. And what you need to look for when you're looking for these bedding areas, they like a firm bottom. And if you can see, there's buck bushes and there's willow trees around us. They like to have things to bed around. It gives them a little bit of a comfort, like a barrier, like a wall perhaps. And so oftentimes willow trees and buck bushes and stuff of that nature will show you that you're in an area with the right kind of bottom. And when they move in there, it's game on. And if you get into a school of these dudes right here, it's all, I mean, it is all, as much fun as there is in the sport of fishing. There's one right out here by the boat. What do we got? Feels like a shellcracker. Oh, it is a shellcracker. Man, these things, compared to those bluegill, we call them shellcrackers because they're known to eat this little mollusk that lives in the lake, and they actually can crack their shells with their mouths to eat them. It's a really cool fish. A big one on this lake is about 14 inches long. That's a real big shellcracker. 12 inches, a giant, 14 inches as big as they get. This right here is a pretty average size. Stay tuned, we're gonna throw you back to your local fishing report.
Welcome to the Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report. This week's update is brought to you by Gadsden, Alabama. One of Northeast Alabama's premier tournament bass fisheries, Gadsden gives anglers everything you could need close by. Convenient boat ramps, hotels, and good dining make the Coosa River and Neely Henry Lake experience one to remember. Now this is a time of year when everything is biting across our region, and the secret to catching fish right now is just get out on the water. Georgia's Lake Sidney Lanier is a 38,000 acre reservoir in the northern suburbs of Atlanta on the Chattahoochee River, and it's a great place to target spotted bass. One option for catching these fish is to look for schooling bass blasting bait on the surface. Tossing a Zara spook into this melee is a good tactic for catching fish that often run 3 to 4 pounds each. If that's not working, head to the long main lake points or open water humps, especially if they've got brush piles on them. A fish head spin retrieved in about 15 feet of water should garner some strikes. For tailwater action this week in Alabama, the waters of Holt Lake below Bankhead Dam on the Black Warrior River is the place to be. The hybrid bass are feeding there along the current seams when water's being released. Now the crappie in northern Mississippi are feeding heavily right now, building up their strength after the spawn. Sardis Lake near Oxford is a good place to tangle with some of these slabs this week.
There's one. Oh yeah. Pretty good one too, I think. Oh, he ain't a bad one. There ain't such thing as a bad shellcracker. These are what you're looking for right here. I love to bluegill fish. I love to bring my family out and catch bluegill because they get piled up in one spot and there's usually a bunch of them. These guys they're bigger, meaner, they fight harder. There's more meat on them when you clean them, and they taste just exactly the same in my opinion. What I'm doing right now is I fish down through here using a little spinner, kind of as a locator, kind of like a little spinner bait. Get a bite, maybe catch one. Oftentimes you just get a bite on it, and then I'm coming back through with a jig head with a red worm on it and just dragging it through that area.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Ooh, a little drag spin in there. Might be a good one. Ooh, got a little drag spin in there. Might be a good one. Changed up and went to a different spinner. That's a pretty good one right there. Yeah, that's a big old shellcracker. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see how wide he is across the back, how thick he is. That's what I would call a hammer right there. That's what you come out here and do this for. Man, I mean, and he hit it like a ton of bricks. That is a good Kentucky Lake shellcracker. They get bigger, but that's a big one. Don't just say I'm gonna fish with a worm, or I'm gonna fish with a cricket, or I'm gonna fish with a little plastic bug or whatever. I have gone to a spinner, matter of fact, 2 different kinds of spinners, and have gotten more bites on that, which is kind of out of the ordinary. They're usually what we would use around here to locate and search for fish with. So my advice to you, they're not probably the stingiest fish on earth, so you can vary your presentation a little bit with some confidence. So I'm gonna put him in the box. I'm gonna ease back up here to this spot and try to zone in. Kind of when you get on the bed, right, you get it narrowed down, you can almost repeat the cast, and it's every cast. So I'm gonna put him in the box, ease back up here. I'm gonna send you to your local fishing report.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, if you're in the Carolinas and along the Grand Strand, make sure you put us on your list of destinations to visit. Come down and enjoy this great view, the food and the music here. Come see why all the locals choose the Dead Dog Saloon on the Marsh Walk in Merle's Inlet. Let's talk about the freshwater side of things. We're gonna go up to the mountains. I don't get to talk about that much, and I tell you what, I don't get to experience it much. But I know there's a lot of fly fishermen out there that enjoy to target trout. And get out and call my buddies at One Fly Outfitters in Black Mountain. They can take care of all your fly fishing needs. Whether you wanna go do a wade-in trip, or if you want to do a float down trip, those guys know where the trout are in that region of North Carolina and can get you on top of the fish. Give those guys a call. And also, the full moon has got those shellcrackers and brims on top of the beds. Remember, I can't stress it enough. Get your kids out to have a great time. We know they don't have the patience for bass fishing right now, and they might not have the patience for a lot of other things, but they love watching that cork go down. Those shellcrackers and brim are there. Get some crickets, take that cane pole out there, and have a great time right now. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
You know, the 2 things we've been fishing for today are bluegill and shellcrackers. I wanted to show you what the 2 look like side by side. This is a pretty good size bluegill. It's not a giant, but I would say it's a good bluegill for this lake. The shellcracker, on the other hand, as you can tell, is much bigger. The bluegill has a real blunt head, and the shellcracker has more of a rounded head with a bigger mouth. Bluegill are fun to catch, but shellcrackers are kind of the crown jewel of pan fishing. Well, that one right there is pretty. You can see the color on him. They are tell you one of the things too that I've always heard, and I think I've certainly experienced, you don't have to get real wild and fancy with colors. Everybody I know that's a real successful shellcracker fisherman fishes with black. If it's a grub, if it's a little beetle on your spinner, whatever it is, it's black. But that right there, I mean, that's a pretty good size. He's not a big one, but he is big enough to ride home with us in the live well. We're gonna head back in. It has been a pretty fun morning, and we gotta be getting close to a one-man limit here. So we're gonna put this dude in the box, and I'm gonna gather up, and I'm gonna see you at the dock.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. and Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Clay wants to know, how do you locate crappie on a lake you are fishing for the very first time? For the answer, we asked Mr. Crappie, Wally Marshall.
What do I look for going to a lake that I've never been to? Hey, I get on my computer, I pull up Google Earth, I look at the lake, and then I get a map out of the lake because I want to see where the creek channels are going, and I'm looking at the lake to where the boat docks are, and I can see all the structure on Google Earth, but then I can see the creek channels on my map. That's before I go to any lake that I've never fished before, and it will help you catch more crappie.
Thanks, Wally. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a new pair of sunglasses.
It's time for the Costa Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is CT Locke of Owens Crossroads, Alabama, with a 33-pound red snapper he caught in the Gulf of Mexico out of Orange Beach, Alabama. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Costa Catch box on the right side of the homepage, and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costa sunglasses. You can see all the Costa sunglasses at their website by going back to our homepage and clicking the Costa logo. You can see all the frames and lens styles in one place. Here's the gear you need to do this. For bluegill and shellcracker fishing, I use a light to medium light action rod. This is a Wally Marshall combo. It's his Pro Series by Lew's. It's perfect. Right size reel, right size rod, everything I need. I use 3 of these exact same combos today. One of the coolest things that I like for bluegill fishing is something often overlooked, and that's my tackle storage. This is a Bass Mafia 3600 box. I can stuff everything I need for a day of pan fishing in this box. It's got a gasket seal, 4 latches, stays dry, stays secure, it floats if it blows out of the boat, and everything I need is in one small, easy, convenient place. Let me talk to you a minute about stuff that matters. You know, all this fishing stuff is awesome. I love fishing. I love getting out and chasing these fish around trying to figure them out. One of the things that makes fishing so much better to me is, like these guys back here, spending time in a boat with somebody else. It is a great way to get to know somebody. It's a great way to get to spend one-on-one time. Some of the best memories I have with some of my family and closest friends have been forged over a time in a boat. Let me encourage you to take something that you're passionate about and share it with those around you. You'll make memories that'll last a lifetime, and that's stuff that matters. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you can take what you've seen here today and apply it to either here on Kentucky Lake or your home waters. I hope you can put more and bigger panfish in your boat. Barry's going to be back with you next week, but I've had a ball hanging out here with you today and catching these fish. I hope to see you soon. Take care and God bless.